Today we're going to install the Gator FX3 hard folding cover on this 2019 new body style GMC Sierra 1500. Now this is the same install for the Chevy Silverado, and it's also the same install for the Gator FX hard folding cover. Let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is install our bulkhead seal. Now this is the seal, this is our bulkhead. I've gone ahead and wiped down the bulkhead with some rubbing alcohol. We're going to apply the seal as far back on the bulkhead as we can before it rounds down into the bed of the truck. So we're going to take loose some of the adhesive and go all the way from one bed cap, run across the bulkhead all the way to the other bed cap. All right, next we're going to cut it in place on the other side. All right, now we're going to go ahead and turn to our passenger side rail. The driver's side rail is going to install the exact same way. You got to identify the passenger side rail. You've got a long rail with a metal tab that's coming into the bed of the truck. You're also going to have a little flange that hangs on top of the bed caps. This portion is going to go towards the bulkhead. So we're going to just basically lay it on top of the bed cap and slide it all the way forward. Now, this particular truck has a bed rug, so I'm going to pull the bed rug down, allow that bulkhead piece to go all the way up against the front of the bed. Once it's in place, I can go ahead and start installing clamps. All right, next, while we're holding the rail up, we've got our clamp. We're going to spread that clamp apart and go up into the rail. Now, for our first and front clamp location, we're going to bring this as far forward on that rail as possible. Pretty much going to be directly above where our tie-down cleats are on the GM full-size truck. We're going to go ahead and tighten that down finger tight first. Once that's finger tight, we're going to take a 9/16 and get it just to where it's starting to bite down. Once it's starting to get a little bit snug, go ahead and apply some pressure from the top. That seats the seal at the top, and then we can go ahead and snug it up the rest of the way. Let's move to our next clamp location. Okay, now because of the way the inner flange, the metal flange on the inside of the bed cap is shaped, we're not going to go to the center of the bed. We're actually going to bring it back to about here. That inner flange actually kind of dips in and meets right up to the plastic bed cap. That's where we're going to put our next clamp. If we don't put it here, we'll have an issue where the rail wants to tip down. So this is where we're going to put a clamp. Again, get it nice and finger tight first. Make sure the grooves on the clamp are seated into the grooves on the rail. Then seat that rail and tighten it down. All right, now we're going to go ahead and slide back to the final clamp location. It's going to be directly above our last tie-down cleats on our GM full-size truck. Spread that clamp apart and get it to where it's seated into the rail, just like the first two, and then finger tight, get it snug. Make sure the rail is seated and then tighten down the rear clamp. All right, let me go ahead and show you how to do the drain tubes. Obviously, this truck has a bed rug liner in it, so we've got the drain tube just going right behind the bed rug. That's perfectly fine by itself because any kind of runoff water will just run back through there and exit the bed through its natural places. If you do not have a bed rug and you have just a regular drop-in liner or a spray-in liner like this one here, there's actually a little hole directly below your stake hole pocket where you can run your drain tube and run it out that way. Just cut the drain tube to the correct length, slide it into that hole, and run it through your drain spout. All right, so here's my cover. I need to install my clip receivers for that cover. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull back this portion here. I've got a shorter panel that when I pull this out, you're going to notice I've got two holes on this panel. So I'm going to flip that back, and we'll see the other side of that panel has got the holes here. In our kit, we're going to have some backing, threaded backing plates that go through these holes from the back side. Then we'll let that fall back forward, and this is our clip receiver. Make sure the clip receiver is oriented toward the open end is going to face your clip. We're going to line that up to the holes. We're going to run our Phillips head screws down through those holes and line them up to the threaded plates. And get them started first. Get both of them started before you tighten either one of them down. That way you don't have to worry about them binding and not lining up. Once we're snug them up, we're going to repeat the same process on the opposite side. Now we're going to go ahead and set the cover onto the rails. Make sure that the short panel faces towards the cab of the truck. We're going to slide that forward to where the rubber flap on that short panel goes right over top of the bulkhead seal. Then one panel at a time, we're going to drop them into the rails, make sure it's centered side to side, and then fold the next panel back. Make sure that one's also centered side to side. And go to the last panel. Now we're going to go ahead and close the tailgate. And we can close the cover and make sure that we have just a little bit of the cover over top of the tailgate. We don't want it too far over because that'll pull it away from the bulkhead. Make sure we divide the difference. We just want to make sure that that seal contacts the tailgate. All right, now I'm going to very gently fold each panel forward so I do not mess up the alignment of the cover. All right, now this is your elevator bolt assembly. You're going to have two, one for each corner. We're going to go ahead and undo that bolt, take the star knob off, and set it to the side, along with the lock washer, flat washer, and first rubber washer. And we're going to take our other rubber washer still attached to the elevator bolt and push it down through the hole. That'll drop it through the aluminum tab underneath, and now I can go ahead and refasten the hardware down below. All right, these are going to go back on the same order they came off. You got the rubber washer, flat washer, and lock washer. They're going to slide right over top of that elevator bolt that's poking down through there, and then we attach the star knob. Once we get the star knob threaded on there, we just get it nice and snug. No need to over tighten it. We just want it to just kind of clamp down and hold the cover in place so it doesn't shift around. We'll repeat the same process on the opposite side. All right, next we're going to fold the cover forward to see where it would contact the cab. Any place where it would contact the cab is where you want to install these rubber bumpers. What we're going to do is pull off the 3M protectant from the adhesive. I've already wiped down this whole surface along here with some isopropyl alcohol, and we're just going to attach rubber bumpers, press down, fold forward. We're going to do one on this side over here and one opposite as well. Well, that concludes the installation. If you have any questions, call the experts or visit us online.